How are you? I'm going to talk about from slow IT to lean mean hypothesis machine in 3 years. I'm going to call that for testing from here on. Yeah, this is me a year ago and my department and me checking Twitter in the workshop. I'm going to tell a little bit about the bank. We are a bank of 14 individual banks, and the center of development of the digital is here in Oslo. But we have been more or less like the IT department of the banks. So it's just recently that we have gotten into like more cool stuff. So, since we are all Norwegians and kind of introverts, and myself included, I'm now going to say 5 things that I want you to react upon, and then I will take it from there. Okay? My story is going to be from slow IT to lean mean hypothesis machine in 3 years. It's the journey we are on, and we are not finished, but we are on our ways. So, first, can you make some noise if who else is tired of the bureaucracy and red tape in the organization? Hey, yes, we hate bureaucracy. That's one factor. Next, who else is tired of product owners, product managers making detailed roadmaps for the next 6 to 12 months? Do you hear? Yeah? I feel it. I'm getting warmed up now. This one, who else is tired of anyone requesting functionality without knowing which actual problems the users have? Hey? Yes. 2 more. Who else is exhausted by the fact that instead of listening to the customers, we just try to copy whatever the competitors did last week? Okay. A little bit more. I think that's a problem for most of us. And finally, who else is tired that every strategy made up ends up as a pretty PowerPoint that gets presented and then put in the archive until the next year? Yes. Now I'm going to tell you one sad story, and then I'm going to tell you one happy story, because to illustrate the difficulties we have in a big corporate enterprise that SpareBank 1 is, I have to tell you a little bit about slow IT, and I also have to tell you a little about a lean mean hypothesis machine. I said it correctly. Okay, but before that, I have to say, did I miss something? I had bureaucracy. I had, this. But what am I missing? One huge ingredient that I'm not going to talk about, but I wish I could. Culture. Culture is the stuff that will eat all this for breakfast, as I say. But I'm not going to talk much about that, but yeah. So, I have a sad story, and it illustrates the slow IT part. We had, Boligmappa, you know what that is? I think it's a service that's still alive. Back in 2015, I also think they were alive. And the managers in the bank, some higher-ups, saw this service, and they wanted to make it. That's quite a copy some competitors type of thing. And the thing is, when you make a product in a big corporation like this, you have to go some hoops, some bureaucracy, and that is you have to write a mandate to get money. You have to write a mandate. It has to be like 17 pages long, usually written by a product manager or a product owner. It will contain stuff like budget, risk. You have to make a roadmap in advance. You have to say what kind of deliveries you have, the business case, everything has to be in there. And then you go on committee. One committee after the other have to say what they think about it, and then maybe you get approval. So this one is not a different story. They did all this stuff. They had to meet like a committee maybe 2 or 3 times. It's like idol for bureaucracies. Basically, slow IT for us is like this is something projects have to do every year to get money. It starts in August. People start writing these long kind of stuffs, and then they end up with money in January. So this one, they had this boligmappa. They wanted to copy it. They got funding for a whole year in advance, for a whole team, whole year in advance, and then they started making it. So they chose technology first, of course. They made a beta solution, and basically it all went wrong. The beta had flaws. If you could log on and see what kind of value your property had. I tested it myself. I got up the garage for all my neighbors as my own, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, the sad story. It ended up we had to scrap it, but it was a lot of learning from that. The cool thing about that project in itself is that we can reference it to this is the worst place we can get. So the next one. So the problem is like this. They have not validated the problem. They didn't have a proper, you just saw another service. You didn't know if that was cool or good or making money. And the market, you didn't know much about that. I mean, when we released the beta, nothing happened. And the product, the execution of it was very bad. They did not use anything like this to really get ahead. So, the happy story, it's a total different story, of course. This is about Spink. Anyone know what Spink is? There's a few people here. Yeah. That is an app for kids and their parents to learn more about money and also to see what they have on their cards. So it's a service for 6 to 12 years olds. And they started out in a different end. They started actually, it started out as a bad thing in the start because the bank said, we have this pocket saver savings app for kids. It's been in the market. It's been there for 2 years, but now it's no users, and we haven't done anything with it. So you have to update this app. So they gave it to a small project, 7 people, and then gave them autonomy to figure it out and go on with it. So the first thing they did was to ask, do kids get pocket money, and how do they get it? The previous app was like this. You do chores like you mop your floor and do your bed, and then the parent could give the kid money in the app. So the first thing they did was to check by interviewing, by doing questionnaires and other stuff, is that the real story for kids? And that's the result was this is not happening. Norwegian kids, they get money when they need money. They don't do chores. And it was really funny watching also the interviews when they had the kid and the parent, and they asked, how do you get money? And the parent said, yeah, well, he has to make the bed. And the kid said, no. It was, I do nothing. So I just get, you know that, Mama. And so they had a lot of learning. So this was the original question. But what we found out was it's not about doing chores for money. It's more like they need to have money to pay when they are on a football match and you have to go in the kiosk and pay something. The parents don't have a cash anymore, so they have to do that. And if they had these bank cards for kids, the problem was that the kid never knew if they had money on it. They have to ask the parents anyway to see if they could have enough money for that. So the real problem ended up like this. Parents really need help to teach the kids way to get good habits and handle their own economy. So they did prototyping, they made an MVP, recruited beta test users, kids, that you had like 30 kids first, and they also had the intercom connected on the app so they could talk to the kids while they were using it. So gradually over the first 6 months the beta was live. Next 6 months they were refining it and tweaking it, and after a while they found the right communication. And then they launched it for the public. We did a lot of, this is my last slide. So the point is, instead of doing the old way, the slow way, doing all the bureaucracy, they did all the right stuff, the lean, mean, machine stuff. So they validated the problem. After it was launched, we also could see that it validated the market. Actually, we sold more bank cards for kids after this was launched, and also because another competitor, I don't know, I'm going to say the name, it's the biggest competitor of us, DNB. Yeah, they had VIPs, and they was launching VIPs for kids 2 years before they had an actual product in the marketplace. So we had this up and running, and we got more people using it, and we got people saying, can I use it as a customer of another bank? And so the market was validated, and the product was great. So I see that my time is up, so I'm going to fast forward to love the problem, not the solution. Thank you.